Listen carefully. Right now, in this very moment, your life is standing at the edge of transformation. Everything you are, everything you have become, and everything you will ever be rests upon one simple thing, the conversation you are having with yourself. That voice in your head, the one whispering what you can and cannot do, what is possible and impossible, that voice is the key to your destiny. Let me show you something extraordinary about the way God designed your mind. Every single thought you think creates a reaction in your body. Every single word you speak to yourself activates a pathway in your brain. When you rise each morning and say, I can't do this, I'm not enough, I'll never make it, you are not simply thinking words. You are wiring your brain to repeat failure, to rehearse defeat, to live in limitation. But here is the fascinating truth. Your brain cannot distinguish between what is happening in your world and what you imagine within your thoughts. That is why the Bible says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So when you change your thoughts, you are not just daydreaming, you are literally reshaping your brain, rewiring the structure of your mind. This is not just philosophy, this is divine design combined with neuroscience. Your thoughts are powerful enough to transform your destiny. Now hear me, I am going to give you a challenge that will change your life in only 3 days. Just 3. Not ordinary days, but days of deliberate, intentional, conscious self-talk. Days that will shake the very foundation of your reality. For most people live their entire lives on autopilot, thinking the same old thoughts, feeling the same emotions, and producing the same tired results day after day. They wake up programmed by yesterday, carrying the weight of the past into the future. But you are not going to live like that any longer. When you change the way you speak to yourself, you change the wiring of your brain. When you change your brain, you change your energy. When you change your energy, you change your life. It is that simple, and it is that profound. Think about it. Every achievement in human history began with an inner voice that said, yes, it is possible. When the world around them was screaming, no, it cannot be done. Every invention, every breakthrough, every revolution began with a dialogue inside the heart that defied the present reality. And this is where you stand right now. The stakes could not be higher. With every word you speak to yourself, you are either reinforcing your limitations or breaking free from them. You are either programming your brain for success or programming it for more of the same. There is no neutral ground. Self-talk is either lifting you higher or holding you hostage. In these next 3 days, you will learn to become the architect of your destiny, using your own inner dialogue as the building blocks. You will discover how to speak to yourself in ways that literally rewire the circuits of your brain, shift the chemistry of your body, and transform your personal reality. This is not about shallow positive thinking. This is not about temporary motivation that fades away. This is about permanent transformation. This is about reconstructing your mind according to the design God placed within you. You are about to step beyond the prison of your past into the unlimited possibilities of your future. The Word of God says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That renewal begins with how you speak to yourself. Once you embrace this truth, there will be no going back. These next 3 days will create ripples in your consciousness that will spread into waves of transformation across every area of your life. Your family, your finances, your faith, and your future. So I ask you, are you ready? Ready to break free from the cycles that have kept you bound? Ready to rise into the fullness of who you were created to be? Because your new life begins the very moment you change the way you speak to yourself. Now listen carefully. Most of the thoughts you think are not fresh thoughts. They are recycled programs running automatically, shaping your entire reality. Let me explain what is really happening. Your brain processes between 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts every single day. But here is the shocking truth. 90% of those thoughts are the exact same thoughts you had yesterday. That means you are literally thinking yourself into the same life, day after day, through the power of repetition. This is why your self-talk is so critical. That negative voice in your head, the one that says, "I'm not ready, I can't afford it, I'm not smart enough," is not harmless. Your body believes every word you speak to yourself. Each time you say it, your brain releases chemicals. Stress hormones are released. Your immune system shifts, your energy drops, and your very genes begin to respond to the words you've spoken. That is how powerful your inner dialogue is. And most of the time, you don't even realize you're doing it. Think about it. Every thought creates a chemical. A fearful thought triggers cortisol and adrenaline. An angry thought floods your system with tension, producing chemicals. A joyful, hopeful thought releases chemicals that bring peace and strength. Your biology is literally shaped by your thoughts. And here's the part you must not miss. Your body cannot tell the difference between an actual experience and an imagined one. Which means that when you continuously rehearse fear, anger, or defeat in your mind, your body lives as though those things are happening right now. You have been unconsciously conditioning your body to become addicted to these negative states. That's why change feels so hard. You are not just breaking a bad habit, you are breaking a chemical addiction to familiar emotions. It is like being hooked on your own personal pharmacy of despair, stress, or anger. And this is why many people stay stuck. They are chemically tied to their own negative self-talk. But hear me today. Those limiting beliefs you've carried are not facts. They are simply thoughts repeated until they became hardwired into your brain. I'll never succeed. I'm not good with money. My relationships always fail. I can't lose weight. These are not truths. They are rehearsed lies. Every time you repeated them, you walked the same path through the field of your mind. And just like a trail in the grass that becomes deeper with use, your brain created pathways that became stronger and stronger through repetition. This is why most people live out the same experiences year after year. They think the same way, they feel the same emotions, and they attract the same circumstances. But here is the good news. God designed your brain to be adaptable. Scientists call it neuroplasticity. Your brain is constantly rewiring itself based on your thoughts and your experiences. This means you are not trapped by your past patterns. You can build new ones. You can think yourself into a new reality. You can reprogram your mind towards success, peace, and divine purpose. The mistake most people make is waiting for the outer world to change before they change their inner world. They say, "When I feel confident, then I'll speak confidently. When I succeed, then I'll think like a successful person." But that is backward. Your external reality is always a mirror of your internal dialogue. The way you talk to yourself today is designing the future you will walk into tomorrow. There is no middle ground. Every single thought is either moving you closer to your destiny or keeping you stuck in your history. Every word you speak to yourself is either programming your brain for transformation or reinforcing the same cycle. That's why awareness is the first step. You cannot change what you are not aware of. And once you become aware, you take back your authority over the programs that have been running your life. Here is the principle in neuroscience. They say neurons that fire together, wire together. That means each time you think a thought, your brain strengthens the pathway connected to that thought. This is why you must take charge of your self-talk. When you begin to direct your words with purpose and intention, you start building new pathways. You begin constructing a new mind, a new state of being, a new reality. So imagine if in the next 3 days you spoke to yourself with faith, with courage, with expectation, with truth. How different your brain would look. How different your emotions would feel. How different your life would become. You are either strengthening the old pathways of your brain or you are building brand new ones. There is no middle ground. And when you begin speaking to yourself in a new way, something remarkable begins to unfold. Your brain literally reorganizes itself. It is like upgrading the operating system of a computer, except this computer is not made of plastic and wires. It is your mind, designed by God with the incredible ability to renew itself. Every positive thought you think, every empowering declaration you make is not just sound in the air. It is electricity firing in your brain, creating brand new networks that will shape your destiny. Now let's make this practical. When you wake up in the morning and the first words you say are, "I'm tired. I don't feel like getting up. Today will be just another difficult day." You are strengthening the old, negative circuits. But if you rise and declare with conviction, "This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice. I am filled with energy. I am excited for what lies ahead," you are not just changing your words. You are changing your brain chemistry. You are activating new neural pathways. You are speaking life into your body. You are giving your genes new instructions. And here is what is so fascinating. Your brain does not know if you are actually experiencing something or if you are only imagining it with intensity. Olympic athletes train their bodies without moving a muscle by visualizing their routines. Their brains fire as though the event is really happening. In the same way, when you combine intentional self-talk with deep emotion, you are not just thinking, you are teaching your body a brand new way of being. You are creating what scientists call a new neural signature. This is how people make what looks like quantum leaps in their lives. They are not simply replacing bad thoughts with good thoughts. They are changing their entire state of being. They are shifting their internal frequency, tuning themselves to a higher reality. Think of every thought you think as a pebble dropped into the field of infinite possibilities. That pebble creates ripples. Those ripples move outward and attract back to you the same frequency of what you sent. This is not mystical imagination. This is quantum physics. Energy affects matter, and your thoughts, charged with emotion, are energy. This is why emotional coherence is so important. It is not enough to simply repeat positive words. You must feel them. You must let your emotions align with your words. When your thoughts say, "I am strong," and your heart feels the strength of those words, something powerful happens inside you. Your brain and your heart begin to move in harmony. Scientists can measure this coherence between heart rhythms and brain waves. And when you are in this state, you become a powerful broadcaster of possibility. What does this mean for your daily life? It means that tomorrow morning, when you wake up and declare, "I am worthy of greatness. I am capable of extraordinary things. I am more than a conqueror through Christ who strengthens me," and you feel the truth of those words in your spirit and in every cell of your body, you are not just thinking positively, you are literally rewiring your brain. You are changing your energy field. You are building a new future inside of you before it ever shows up around you. This is why I focus self. Talk is so much more than replacing negative with positive. It is about creating a brand, new energetic signature that becomes your new normal. It is about training your brain to fire in new patterns that match the reality you desire to live in. It is like tuning a radio. If you want to hear a different song, you cannot stay on the same station. You must tune to a new frequency. Your thoughts are frequencies. Your words are frequencies. And when you tune yourself to faith, abundance, peace, joy, and success, those are the signals you begin to receive back from the field of life. But here is the key: consistency and intensity. You cannot do this halfway. You cannot whisper timid words into your life and expect thunderous change. You must speak to yourself with clarity, with passion, with faith, with conviction, until your body has no choice but to obey the new instructions you are giving it. You must talk to yourself until your brain rewires, until your energy rises, until your reality aligns with what you have declared. Because remember this, your words are not just sounds. They are seeds. And when spoken with emotion and faith, they will grow into the future you were designed to live. Now, hear me carefully. Change doesn't just happen because you wish it. Transformation requires a protocol. It requires discipline. It requires strategy. This is how you begin to create lasting change, not just in your thoughts, not just in your feelings, but at the very cellular level of your being. Never forget, every word you speak to yourself is either reinforcing your current reality or creating a new one. There is no middle ground. You are either elevating your life through intentional self-talk, or you are unconsciously maintaining the life you already have. So let me lay it out clearly. For the next 3 days, you're going to follow a specific protocol. This is not just another exercise. This is your blueprint for transformation. These 3 days will be unlike any other you have ever lived, because for the first time, you will be conscious of every word you speak to yourself. Let's start with your morning ritual. The very moment you open your eyes, and I mean the very moment, before you check your phone, before you think about your problems, before you even place your feet on the floor, you will place your hand on your heart. This simple gesture signals to your body that something new has begun. In this state between sleep and full wakefulness, your brain is most open to new programming. For the first 20 minutes of your day, you will speak to yourself with intentional, powerful declarations. Not just in your head, but with your lips, even in a whisper. Say with conviction, today is the day I break free from my past. Today my new life begins. Every cell in my body is awakening to new possibilities. But do not rush through these words. Feel them. Let them penetrate your being. Let every syllable echo in your chest. This is not meditation. This is active brain programming. You are laying down new neural pathways. You are creating patterns of thought and emotion that will carry you into your new future. Now, in the afternoon, between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m., your brain enters another window of heightened receptivity. This is your second opportunity. Find a quiet space, your car, your office, even a bathroom stall if that's all you have. For 5 minutes, reconnect with your morning declarations. But this time, add movement. Walk with purpose. Swing your arms with intention. As you speak, engage your body. Remember, you are not just changing your thoughts. You are shifting your entire state of being. Your body must feel what your mind is declaring. And throughout the day, be vigilant. Catch your negative self. Talk the moment it arises. The moment you hear yourself say, I can't, this is too hard, I'll never make it, stop immediately. Replace those words with life. Say, I am capable, I am resourceful, I find solutions with ease. Do not let a single negative thought slip by unchecked. Every thought matters. Every word counts. Then comes the evening protocol. This is where the consolidation happens. Between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m., as your brain begins to process the day, sit quietly for 15 minutes. Place your hand on your heart again. Review the victories of your day, no matter how small. Speak gratitude. Declare with confidence, today I created new pathways in my brain. Today I stepped closer to my new reality. Tomorrow will bring even greater transformation. Let gratitude rise. Let anticipation swell in your spirit. This emotional state is the glue that seals your new neural circuits. Now let me tell you why these 3 timing windows are so powerful. Your brain operates in rhythms, natural cycles of peak receptivity. By aligning yourself, talk to these cycles, you maximize the impact of every word. You are no longer fighting against your brain. You are working with its design. Morning, afternoon, and evening. You are systematically reprogramming your inner world. For 3 days, this will be your sacred protocol. Follow it faithfully, and you will discover what it means to take charge of your destiny, because lasting change is not an accident. It is the product of intentional words spoken at the right time with the right conviction. Now let me give you something very important, what I call state management. If you are serious about transformation, you must be constantly aware of your emotional state. Pay attention to the atmosphere within you. If you feel yourself slipping back into old patterns, stop immediately. Take 3 deep, slow breaths and remind yourself, I am in the process of transformation. Every moment is an opportunity to reinforce my new reality. Do not let your emotions drift without direction. Guide them, rule them, master them. Carry a small notebook with you everywhere you go. This may sound simple, but it is powerful. Every time you catch yourself in negative self-talk, write it down. Then immediately write down its replacement, your empowering declaration. This is not busy work. This is spiritual discipline. You are taking what is invisible, your thoughts, and making it visible. You are creating a physical record of your transformation. And every night, before you lay your head to sleep, open that notebook. Review the notes. Speak those empowering words one last time. Let them be the final thoughts on your mind as you drift into sleep, because your subconscious will work with those words all night long. But hear me. These 3 days are not about perfection. They are about direction. You may stumble. You may find yourself drifting back into old ways of thinking. That is normal. The key is not to be perfect, but to catch yourself quicker each time and redirect your self-talk immediately. This is immersion. This is not about adjusting a few thoughts here and there. This is about creating a whole new mental architecture. You are building brand new networks in your brain that will support your new reality. Every word you speak during these days is either reinforcing this new architecture or slipping back into old patterns. The choice will always be yours. Now let me take you deeper into what is actually happening in your body during this process. This is not just a mental exercise. With every word you speak, you are literally changing your biology. Think of your body as a factory, a chemical factory. And your thoughts are the factory manager giving the instructions. When you practice intentional self-talk, you are rewriting the orders to that factory. When you achieve what scientists call heart-brain coherence, that state where your thoughts and emotions align, something measurable takes place. Your heart begins producing a rhythmic pattern that can actually be detected by machines. This is not metaphorical, it is scientific. Your heart has its own nervous system. It sends more signals to your brain than your brain sends to your heart. That is why when you place your hand on your heart and speak with power and kindness, your heart rhythm becomes more ordered, more coherent. And in response, your brain reduces its production of stress chemicals like cortisol and adrenaline. This is why you suddenly feel calm. This is why you sense peace flooding your body. But it doesn't stop there. As stress hormones decrease, your body begins to produce what I call the chemicals of possibility. Dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins. These are not just feel-good chemicals. They are signals. They tell your genes to express themselves differently. They literally rewrite the script your body is following. Think about this. Every cell in your body has receptors waiting for instruction. When you say to yourself, I am powerful, I am capable, I am worthy, those words trigger a cascade of biological responses. Your cells tune themselves to a new frequency. They literally adjust their vibration to match your new reality. That is why people who master their self-talk often report physical changes. They carry themselves differently. Their presence shifts. Even their faces seem transformed. They are not only thinking differently, they are becoming biologically different. Your cells are always listening. Your body is always responding. And when you consistently speak with power, purpose, and conviction, you are not only changing your mind, you are rewriting the story in your blood, in your bones, in your very DNA. Your cells are not passive. They are not sitting quietly, waiting for life to happen to them. They are constantly listening to your words, responding to your thoughts, and adjusting to your emotional state. when you consistently speak words of power, your cells begin to expect these new chemical states. They start to crave the chemicals of joy, peace, confidence, and possibility instead of the destructive chemicals of fear, stress, and doubt. This is how transformation becomes permanent, not just in your mind, but at the cellular level. Science calls it frequency. Scripture calls it life or death being in the power of the tongue. When you live in fear, when you repeat words of doubt, your cells vibrate at a lower frequency. They function less efficiently, they communicate poorly, they repair slowly, they replicate with error. But the moment you shift yourself, talk to words of power and possibility, the frequency of your entire biological system increases. This isn't mystical, it's measurable. Quantum physics proves it. Your words can literally upgrade your biological software. This is why consistency is non-negotiable during these 3 days. Every time you catch a negative phrase, I can't. This is too hard. I'll never change. And replace it with intentional declarations. I am capable. I find solutions easily. I am walking in transformation. You are not just changing your mood. You are training your biology. You are teaching your cells a brand new way of being. And as those cells begin to operate at higher frequencies, everything in your body begins to function at a superior level. Think about your immune system. When you constantly flood your body with stress hormones, your immune defenses weaken. Your body spends all its energy responding to threats that don't even exist outside your imagination. But when your self-talk shifts, when you declare strength, peace, and resilience, your stress chemicals decrease and your immune system rises to its proper capacity. Suddenly, your body can focus on repair, regeneration, and healing. That is the power of your words. Your body does not know the difference between a real threat and an imagined one. It only knows what you tell it. So, when you whisper, I am strong, I am capable, I handle challenges with grace and ease, your body believes you. Your brain reorganizes itself. Your cells align with the new message. You are not just talking. You are commanding your biology. You are changing your entire internal environment. There is no neutral ground in self-talk. Every word is moving you toward health and transformation or pulling you back into limitation and decay. But let me warn you, when you begin this journey, your body will resist. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. You may feel like a fraud. You may even hear that old voice whispering, this isn't working. You're fooling yourself. Recognize what is happening. That resistance is not weakness. It is withdrawal. Your body has been addicted to its old emotional states. For years, it has been fed a steady diet of chemicals like stress, worry, fear, and self-doubt. Just like an addict, it will fight to get its fix. When you deny it, when you stop feeding it with negative self-talk, it cries out. You feel restless, uncomfortable, maybe even agitated. That discomfort is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that transformation is happening. It is like the soreness you feel after working out. Pain is not proof of weakness. It is proof that growth is taking place. Your old patterns are deeply worn paths in your brain, carved out over years of repetition. When you try to create new paths, your mind will always be tempted to return to the familiar ones. But every time you resist the pull of those old addictions and stick with your new declarations, you are literally strengthening new neural pathways. You are building a new brain. You are creating a new reality. The discomfort you feel is temporary. It is the labor pain of your new self being born. Do not run from it. Do not quit in the middle of it. Embrace it as evidence that your old programming is dying and a higher version of you is coming alive. And as you stay faithful to this process, you will begin to see the signs, small shifts at first, then larger breakthroughs, that transformation is taking root in your life. The signs of transformation often begin in the smallest, most ordinary ways. You may not hear a trumpet sound, and the heavens may not open, but your body will quietly testify that change is taking place. You might notice that you're sleeping better, as if your nervous system has finally found peace. Your energy may shift. You wake up with a little more strength, a little more hope, a little more vitality. You may find yourself spontaneously sitting straighter, breathing deeper, walking with more confidence. These are not coincidences. These are the signs that your new self talk is taking root at a biological level. But let me warn you, around the second day, you will face what I call the wall of doubt. This is not a signal to stop. It is a signal that breakthrough is near. Your body will fight back because its old emotional addiction is losing ground. You may feel tired. You may feel irritable. You may feel like quitting. But remember this, that resistance is not failure. It is the old identity dying so the new one can be born. It is the shedding of old skin. Push through. Transformation is always preceded by resistance. You will know real change is happening when you start catching your negative self talk almost instantly. Words that once flowed freely. I can't. I'm not enough. This is too hard. Will suddenly sound foreign to your spirit. And without even forcing it, you'll find yourself redirecting those thoughts into words of empowerment. I am capable. I am more than enough. I am rising above this. That's not just willpower at work. That is evidence that your new neural pathways are becoming stronger. That is proof that your brain is being rewired. Discomfort is always temporary, but transformation is permanent. Every time you feel resistance and still choose your new self, talk. You're not just changing your mood. You're changing the physical structure of your brain. You are becoming a different person at the cellular level. The challenge is greatest when transformation is closest. Don't let temporary discomfort rob you of permanent change. You are on the verge of something extraordinary. Understand this. This process is not about feeling good all the time. It is about staying faithful to your declarations even when you don't feel like it. That is what creates lasting change. That is what builds permanent new neural pathways. That is what transforms your biology forever. And when you shift your biology, you shift your destiny. Here is the mystery of transformation. When you change yourself, talk, you don't just change yourself. You change the entire field of possibilities around you. This is not simply personal development, this is quantum transformation. It affects your relationships, your health, your career, your future, even the atmosphere you walk into. Watch what begins to happen. In your relationships, people will notice the shift in you before you say a word. They will respond differently because you are showing up differently. Your presence alone will begin to influence rooms you enter. This is not magic. It is the power of coherent energy flowing through you, affecting the quantum field around you. In your professional life, doors will begin to open that were invisible before. It is not that the opportunities suddenly appeared. It is that your new self tuned your perception to see them. You will speak with more clarity. You will make decisions with more authority. You will lead with more confidence. Your internal dialogue creates your external reality. Even your health will testify. As your stress response diminishes, your immune system will strengthen. Your sleep will deepen. Your digestion will improve. People often report that chronic conditions they carried for years suddenly begin to shift. This is not chance. It is your new biology expressing itself through the power of thought, word, and quantum alignment. Every thought you think and every word you speak to yourself sends ripples into the field of infinite possibilities. You become like a broadcast tower, transmitting a frequency that draws back experiences aligned with your new state of being. You will start noticing synchronicities, those meaningful coincidences that line up perfectly with your new declarations. The right people will enter your life. The right opportunities will present themselves. Doors you never imagined will begin to swing open. This is not luck. This is not random. This is quantum law. You are tuning yourself to a new frequency of possibility. And as you do, you are no longer the same person who started this process. You have shifted at the level of your DNA. Your genes are expressing differently. Your cells are vibrating at a new frequency. Your life is no longer bound by the limitations of the past. You are walking in the freedom of a new reality. Your energy field is shifting. Your vibration is rising, and you are no longer the same. You are becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts different experiences. This is why what you are doing is so crucial. You are not just changing your own life. You are shifting the atmosphere for everyone connected to you. Your transformation becomes a catalyst. Your decision to elevate your self-talk becomes a model, a pattern, a template that makes it easier for others to transform too. This is how real change happens in the world. Not by grand speeches or external events, but by one person choosing to master the conversation within. One transformed voice at a time. Right now, in this very moment, you stand at the threshold of transformation. Not tomorrow, not next week, not someday. The moment is now. Every minute you wait is another minute reinforcing the old patterns you're trying to escape. Every second of delay is a second you're saying yes to the old self and no to the new possibilities. The question before you is urgent. Will you remain in the cycle you've always known, or will you step into the future that is waiting for you? Tomorrow morning, when your eyes first open, you will face that choice. Will you slide back into the same routine, letting your old self-talk take over? Or will you begin the most important conversation of your life? The conversation that will reshape your brain, reprogram your biology, and reconstruct your reality? Here's exactly what I want you to do. The moment you wake up, before your feet even touch the ground, place your hand over your heart. Feel its rhythm. Breathe in deeply 3 times. This is not ritual, this is alignment. This gesture signals to your body and your mind that a new day has begun and a new self is emerging. Then declare with every ounce of conviction in your spirit, today I step into my new reality. Today my thoughts create my new future. Today I become the person I know I was born to be. Don't just whisper these words as if they were empty phrases. Feel them. Let them vibrate in every cell of your body. Let them shake loose the weight of your old stories, your old limitations, your old conversations. Watch them fall away like autumn leaves clearing the ground for new growth. Understand this? The universe is waiting for your decision. The quantum field is ready to respond to your new energy signature. Your cells are poised, ready to receive new instructions. But nothing will change until you take the first step. Nothing will move until you begin this new conversation with yourself. Think about where you'll be 3 days from now if you commit fully. Think about who you will have become, the kind of peace you will carry, the energy you will radiate, the clarity you will walk in. Think about how different your world will look when your brain has been rewired with 3 days of intentional, powerful, and focused self-talk. Think about the ripple effects in your family, your work, your relationships, and your future. This is not just about changing your thoughts. It is about changing your destiny. It is about becoming the version of yourself that you've always known was possible, but have not yet lived. It is about embodying the kind of person who naturally attracts success, health, love, influence, and abundance. Not because of chance, but because of choice. So the time is not later. It is not when you feel ready. The time is now. Right here, right now. In this very moment, your new self is calling. Your new life is waiting. Your new reality is ready. All that is required is that you begin. Let this be the defining moment you look back on and say, that was the day everything changed. That was the moment I stepped into my new life. That was when I became the architect of my destiny. Your transformation begins now. Let's begin.